So Rabbi say we're holding page Shin Lamed Aleph.
Yeah, I was right.
And we are going finishing off Hilchos Havdala. The long siman is the final siman in Hilchos Havdala. Reish Tzadik Tesha Lechol V'Reish Lishtois Ve'Laseis Shemalacha Kodim She'Avdol. One should not eat, drink, or do malacha before one makes Havdala. Sif Aleph. Asur Chachamim Lechol Shum Davar Lishtois Mashke Chutz V'Mayim Meitzai Shabbos Ad She'Yavdol L'Kois. Chachamim forbade to eat anything or drink any drink besides for water as a Shabbos until you make Havdala. Not only in Tefillah, but Havdala on the Kois and the Becher. Half of Pish Hivdol Kravit Tefillah, even though made Havdala already in davening, I feel Litte Mahat, even to taste a little bit also.
It's very interesting. Well, whenever, before, I remember growing up when I was younger, my mother forbade me eating anything on Friday afternoon before you made no
Kiddush.
Friday
dish.
Yeah.
What,
I mean,
isn't that a similar concept?
yes. Similar to Kiddush.
What about the Bible who puts me in mind? You're allowed to drink water before, no? Well, our meaning is not nothing.
Halacha, you're allowed to drink water. The minig is that we don't drink water.
Only Chabad? No.
No, halacha is you're allowed to drink water before Havdala. The minig Chabad is not to drink water before Havdala. Huh? Yeah, could be that. It doesn't say from Hagen for sure. What Maise is, there's an issue with water. It says that the Neshamis are going back to Gan Eden, going back, leaving Gan Eden, and the Neshamis are in the water. If you take a drink of water, then you could be drinking, someone could be drinking the Neshama of a family member. So it's Taisus, and there's some discussion about that there's an issue with water, but it's not Api Allah. Api Allah, the water is okay.
What's the Havdala? What's the reasoning over here that why you're not allowed to eat or drink like before from Ben Shmoshes on?
So Lamaita says, we find by a lot of mitzvahs that Chazal forbade that we should not make a Suda before. But not that we're not allowed to eat anything at all.
Oh, that's what he says.
Let's say by a lot of mitzvahs it says you're not allowed to have a Suda before Kiveya Suda. But you're not allowed to eat at all. We find by Kiddush and Havdala, over here we see, even to taste a little bit or drink, it's also us. Why are we so machmir? So he says, Mitam Shenizbar B'Smei Shemal, for the reasons explained by Kiddush. As explained by Kiddush is, any mitzvah which the mitzvah is to do it right at the beginning of the time, Chazal says us to eat anything at all. Meaning, if the mitzvah is to do it, you have a while to do it, the mitzvah. So Chazal said, stay away from being Keveya Suda, because if you Keveya Suda, you'll get involved in the Suda, and you will forget to do the mitzvah. The Suda will be nimshach for a few hours. Right? However, when something is, that's when the mitzvah, you have a while to do the mitzvah. You have a while to daven mincha. You have a while to daven ma'ariv. But what happens if the mitzvah is that you should do it right as the beginning of the time? Kiddush is a mitzvah to do it as early as you could. As soon as you could. You're not supposed to come home and sit around, sit and read a book, and an hour later, I'll make Kiddush.
Shalom Aleichem is the same way.
As soon as you come home.
Yeah.
But Havdala is a mitzvah to be moisef.
You don't want to lose them.
If it's a mitzvah to be moisef, so what's the problem?
As soon as it comes inside,
I take a bite, have a nice little snack. So I want to come in late for Havdala. I was moisef on Shabbos. Moisiv Kodesh ala Chayil.
You already said
So ain't a chanami.
chanami.
Ain't a chanami, but
Trying to get the
But what-
the wisdom behind it.
ain't a chanami. It's a good point. It's a good kasha. What you're asking is basically there's an Indian of being moisiv mechayil ala kodesh. So what's the big deal if I add more time? I could add more time into Shabbos, and I'm going to be pushing off Havdala anyways. Havdala is going to be later. Well, the answer to that is that whenever you stop being moisiv mechayil ala kodesh, that becomes a time of Havdala.
Oh, I see.
Havdala is at the ending of Shabbos.
Yeah.
So whenever you ended Shabbos, so if we're going to allow you to eat and drink afterwards, you're going to be eating and drink. So then, what do you mean? Right now you're supposed to be making Havdala this minute that you're eating your piece of mazaynis, you're taking your drink.
Oh, I see.
This very minute itself is the Zman of Havdala. When it comes to Mincha, Ma'ariv, no, it's not right this minute is the Zman. I have a long time to do it. Chazal didn't want you to be Keveya. A Suda should take a while, you might forget entirely this Zman. Mashenkin over here, every minute is the time is going by, because in a Chanami you could be mashlamit and do it a whole night, and really b'diavad up until Tuesday, Havdalah. But the Iker mitzvah is to do it samach to the Yitzias HaShabbos. And the same thing with Kiddush, samach to Kiddush HaShabbos. So therefore, both Kiddush and Havdalah were very machmer. By the way, the same thing is with B'dikas Chametz. Very machmer of B'dikas Chametz, also not to learn and not to do anything, because the same thing, B'dikas Chametz is not just a mitzvah sometime that night you should do B'dikas Chametz. Chazal said in this very night itself, it should be in the beginning of the night. In the beginning, right before you get involved in anything else, you should do the beginning. According to do in the beginning, you have the whole night. Since the Iker mitzvah is in the Tchila Zman, therefore it's more chomer than other mitzvahs.
So how come some rabbis make, I went one time Mosei Shabbat, 2 o'clock in the morning, 51st, 13 to 14, they have a rabbi. My friend called me, picked me up. He's making Havdala, 2 o'clock in the morning. And then you see...
Because he started behet, he did Shalashudas behet.
So they don't eat in between? After
finished
Maghrib?
Shabbos.
And he started a Suda. I'm talking about a snack. He says, Shum Dov, you know.
Let's see. If you're starting in the middle of a meal, it's Siv Beis.
Oh,
If someone was sitting and drinking while it was Shabbos, so you have to stop. Actually, he doesn't use the word shkia here. He calls it bein hashmoshes, because the Alter Rebbe in the Shulchan Aruch held like Rabbeinu Tam, and Rabbeinu Tam held that bein hashmoshes is not right after shkia. Twilight time is not after shkia. Twilight time is like an hour after shkia. So that we said bein hashmosh, it doesn't say shkia, because after shkia it's still completely day. Only the Siddur and the Alter Rebbe later on changed, and he went like the Goinim, which held that right after Shkia starts automatically, immediately the time of Bein HaShmash's time. So he used the Lashon, not Kishmash Shkia, Kishmagia Bein HaShmash Safek Laila. So you have to stop. However, if you had washed for a meal by daytime for Shalosh Shudas, and tzarech lahafsik, you don't need to stop afilu mishzia, even from drinking, because you're eating and you're already washed. Afilu k'shemigiyah v'adei laila, even when it actually hits night.
So that's what they're doing.
He's allowed to go as long as he wants into the night, 2, 3 a.m.
That's it. See?
Kiven shehischu beheter.
He covered himself.
Since you started beheter, you started in a time that was mutter before, based lahalacha l'maisa, before shkia. You wash before shkia. You continue your meal. However, if you washed, you started your meal, you made a mistake, and you started it after shkia, you didn't realize it was shkia already. So you have to stop immediately as you remember. However, here we have a shita which is matir. V'yesh matirin afilu hasel ben hashmoshes ben lecho ben lishtes. And Easter b'vadei laila shizmana Havdala. There's a shita which is matir and says you can even start to eat and drink ben hashmoshes time. There's no problem. Eat and drink all you want ben hashmoshes, whether even without washing. What's the reason? The Easter is only when it's actual night, not when it's ben hashmoshes, which is a suffix laila suffix. Only when it's actual nightfall, which is the time that you can make Havdala. V'chein is pashat haminig the sudas gedoyles shemaschilem bebein hashmoshes. There are many places that had a minig, that they had huge meals, huge shalashudasin, that they would start during bein hashmoshes time. They rely on this opinion. You cannot protest on them and say mimoich on them. Ki mishiyesh lahem mishiyismuch mashiyismuch. They have who to rely on, what to rely upon. However, when it comes to halacha wise, the ikar is like the first opinion that you're not allowed to. So when it comes to macha, making a macha, being moicha, protesting on someone saying you did something wrong, that you don't have to be moicha if someone has shita who they could say I'm relying on the shita. You can't be meich on them because they have their rav. But if you're asking from a perspective of halacha, what you have to know what to do is not to do this, and you should be washing before shkia. Why the halacha is not? There is no such a shita by kiddush. By kiddush we're not mekel, and by kiddush we are not mekel like the shita, and there is no such a shita that you can bein hashmoshes start suda, right, without kiddush.
By the way, you mentioned before that you shouldn't wait for doing the I had something that happened to me. I got so into cleaning my house that I ended up falling asleep. I woke up. I realized I woke up. It was 7 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't search for the hummus. It hit me now. It's so important to do the bdika chametz as soon as.
Good, yeah, good example. Really good. Yeah. So there's no such a minig by Kiddush to do this, but there was such a minig by Havdala to rely on this thing. Well, the Divrei Hakel, according to all opinions, 3 lines at the bottom of the page, Kishemigia Bade Laila, when it becomes definitively night, you need to fully stop. If you were drinking, for sure you need to stop just drinking. Even if eating, if you started to eat when it was fully dark, you can't continue eating. What happens if you made hamaitzi? Before I tasted the hamaitzi, I realized it's already night. That's what the Hakel. According to our opinion that we're not mekel even ben hashmashas, we could ask the same shiloh scenario will be in a case where it's ben hashmashas and you washed and you're saying hamaitzi already about to be there. You look at the clock and someone says no, it's ben hashmashas already. According to the Ikar halacha or according to the minig of those kehilas, it's vadei laila. Yitamenu miyad. You should taste right away from the challah. And then make Havdala. Shem yavdim mitchila, for makes Havdala first. A berachas hamayfi l'atola. She'achar yatzarech la'asel v'arech ha'moitzi. She'hisko kam in Brachal Tima. You have no choice over here. So if you don't want your ha'moitzi to be in Brachal Havdala, you have to taste a bit of the challah right away. Otherwise, you're going to stop right now and make Havdala.
What happened to
Tell him that
over last year?
yeah.
Can continue eating after the Havdalah without washing the hand again. Whether was he remember he make Havdalah, yes, to Te'ima, yes, to test, and then make Havdalah. What happens if you want to continue eating?
Good question.
Well, what would be the problem?
He has to wash again, or what he washed before, the Yotze for the second, after the Havdalah.
But he didn't
He
finish
had
the
hefsek.
sukkah.
Havdalah is hefsek.
Let's see. Good question. Good question. Siv Gimel. Ayoshim ba'oichlim ba'idyoim. What happens if you were sitting and eating a meal, shalosh shodis ba'idyoim, when it was daytime? You started when it was day. B'yachar gemara sud, the ending of the meal, you finished your meal. And now, kaveh l'shtiyah, when now it's drinking time, we're having tea, having a coffee, we're drinking. Ain't tzarech lahasi k'shigia lai. You don't have to stop when it comes night because, oh, I'm only drinking. No, shakol nechshav l'sudach, it's all considered one meal. Kol zman shel birchel birchas hamazon. As long as you didn't make birchas hamazon, it's all one meal. V'afilu amru zeh lazeh boyu v'navdu. V'chazur v'nimechu l'shteis v'lechol. Elo motarim l'shteis v'lechol.
How about Mari? How to make Havdalah before Mari?
You can make Havdala
before Mari?
Yeah.
Only it's 18, but it doesn't say that. It says Amru Zela Bo Navdi. That's all everybody, let's go make Havdalah.
The very statement is saying Boyu v'navdu. They said at the ending of the meal, they said, you know what? Let's make Havdalah. That is not enough to make that. If they want, they can go back.
System.
They can go back. They can be chayzer. Okay, we said Boyu v'navdu. Now they say, you know what? Let's go sit back in the meal.
Let's finish it up.
Let's verbring more. You can continue. Filu Amru Zela Zela, the third line in Gimel.
Yeah.
Bayu v'navdu, v'chazur, and afterwards v'chazur v'nimluchu, they went back. V'lishtes, and they wanted to go drink v'lechol to eat. Harei l'motarim lishtes v'lechol, they could. V'edin tzrichim l'hafsik machas shagomer v'daitam l'havdol. Just because they had a mind, and not only they had a mind, they actually said, let's do Havdalah. Doesn't make that now they can't go back. They don't have to make a bracha again. They don't have to make a bracha again in their food. It's still the same brachas. It's no hefsek. Till they actually make Havdalah, they were not Mesiach Das from eating.
That answers your question.
Not yet.
It's because Amazon. This is a motzi, it's different.
He was asking if he actually made Havdalah. But here they just said the Amida of Havdalah. Let's make Havdalah.
Oh, they didn't make Havdalah?
No. They're going back to the meal.
I thought they made Havdalah.
No.
I'm misled.
It's not enough. Let's not make a hefsek. Since the statement by Avdol is not enough to make it also them to eat and drink, just that the statement by Avdol, come let's make Havdalah. So therefore, by saying it, it's not a Hesach Hadas. Because the very statement itself doesn't have halachically the implications that of a Hesach Hadas. Or that it could be mafsik them. So saying it's not, it's meaningless.
Well, and if they set up though, why is that Hesach Hadas? I don't understand. I'm missing something. Explain to me. Why is that Hesach Hadas? If they do say it though.
We didn't. We're not. It's not
How
over
would
here.
I
We're not in.
consider-
We're not contrasting it to saying Havdala. We're saying is like in general, when you wash before for shalashudas
Yeah.
or for brengim, you can continue even though it's into the night, right?
Yeah, it's
What point does that stop? What point do you say? If you daven Meyer v'mashal,
you could
if you do Berchas Hamazon, right?
Yeah.
You can't sit down back to the meal.
no, you say Birk is a Muslim. That as long as you don't, you could daven Mariv. You could do everything. You're at a Shabbat. Oh, it's man in the middle of the Suda. You're allowed to daven Mariv. You're allowed to daven Mariv. Why have to?
But in Meyer, if you say Atachin Tunnel, once you say Atachin Tunnel, the meal is over. The Shabbos is over. You're not going to be able to continue the Suda.
Ah.
It's a Hetzach Hadas from the Suda. You're not allowed to eat or drink before Havdalah. When does that Isser start? We know that when you start Beheter, Kivin Shehetzkel Beheter, you're allowed to Yamamshech. When does that go until? So it says, Alter Rebbe, saying Bayav and Avdol doesn't stop that. You still have your Heter.
Oh, yeah.
You said Bayav and Avdol, then you went back. You retract from your words, no problem. You can still go back. You don't have to make any brachas anymore. You're still like in the middle of your meal. It's the meaningless.
Yeah.
But if you actually make Havdala,
Actually, make Havdalah Zichr, it's going to be a problem. That's l'chora. I'm saying.
Why?
I'm saying
Because
here we're not yet discussing. We're mainly discussing not the brachas. We mainly want to discuss when does the Isser Te'ima Koidim Havdalah start. We know if Hischa Beheta you start before Shkia,
yeah.
you can continue. When do we say no? That's over. So number one, if you bench, for sure not,
That's
right?
sure not, yeah.
So here he's saying how we're saying the statement Boyu Benavdil.
That's not considered
Not considered
Havdala. Havdala.
But you said $1 right there in the middle of the Suda. What's the problem?
That's what I'm wondering myself. Why would that be
Say
Havsik in the Suda?
Well,
Then continue the Suda after Abdullah.
first of all, they must probably do need to make all the brachas again and everything because it's
Why?
not sick.
Why?
Some opposites. So that you daven Marv in the middle of the Suda.
Unless you have a Gemara, but you have intent
You're
to finish
standing at the
sin.
table. You say Abdullah. That's called Mopsit Suda.
Not so pasha. It's different.
Why
Kiddush
is
and
it different?
Havdalah are different.
Why?
If someone's to daven Marv,
Because
a whole
Mayre,
minyan.
Kiddush and Havdalah are keveya isur te'ima. They're not allowed to eat b'chlal. When it comes to Zman of Kiddush and Havdalah, you're not allowed to eat or drink.
You didn't eat and drink. You said Abdullah. Yeah, I didn't even drink. I said Abdullah. Now I'm standing in front of the table. We're talking about a 2-minute hefsek on the clock.
Let's see. He's going to talk about it, I think so. Let's not talk
Let's talk
theoretical. Let's see what's going to be. I don't remember the exact dinim. One thing is clear. Bayav and Avdol is not. You wanted to bring up a point, yeah?
What?
You want to bring up something before? Okay, Sivdal. Here we have the din of Havdalah. Sivdal. Till now we're talking about just saying we want to make Havdalah in the middle of the meal. Does not stop the meal. The meal could continue. You could change your mind. Hamafsik lahavdala kois be'emser siyasi. What happens if someone's in the middle of a meal? Shalosh Shudas. And he had drank some wine in the middle of Shalosh Shudas. So he made already a Beir Piyagafin. And now in the middle of the meal, he wants to make Havdalah. Hamafsik lahavdalah kois be'emser siyasei. Av bishahaya kavua lishsiya bovad. Shu chayev lahafsik lahavdalah shehigia layla. The din is someone who's keveya not for suda. He's only kavua for shia for drinking. He didn't wash before shkia, so he has to stop when it comes night. He's chayti mafsik into mavdol. You're not allowed to say isur te'ima, isur shia. V'osa loy me'ato lishtes oid achi yavdol. He's not allowed to drink anymore until he makes havdalah. But he didn't make ala gefen yet. See, he was drinking a kois of yayin before shkia. And came shkia, he can no longer drink. Became tzeitza kichavim, and he wants to make havdalah. Havdalah, you say a beiri piyagafen normally during havdalah. Does he need to say another B'rei Pri Hagafen or not? He already has a B'rei Pri Hagafen, which we said before.
We already said it's a separate Havdala, the din of B'rei Pri Hagafen. It's a different than just saying it's not a Birkas Nehenin that you say B'rei Pri Hagafen. It's Kadeya in the Havdala itself.
The one you makadosh.
It's not the same kind of bracha.
You're
like
consecrating the Havdalah with the yayin.
just like Friday night, you say Kiddush B'rei Pri Hagafen. It's the same type of B'rei Pri Hagafen.
That's a good kasha.
Why did they get up though?
I'll tell you, really, this is continuing on with the Shita. Me'ez Siba, he didn't make a bracha achroina yet. It's not really so common, it's more common according to the minig that relied that bein hashmashis you're allowed to eat and drink. We spoke before that there was a minig, the Sudas Gedolos, that they would eat and drink like normal throughout bein hashmashis until Vadei Laila. So a person could be drinking a cup of wine, and a minute later it's say Kichavim. So he wants to make Havdala because he's not allowed to drink anymore. So he wants to make Havdala and he wants to be able to eat. So does he have to make a B'rei Pri Hagafen or not? Afa became the third line in Dalid. Afa became in Tzarech Levarech B'rei Pri Hagafen al Kodesh Shel Havdala. You do not need to make another bracha B'rei Pri Hagafen al Havdala. Shenifter bebirchis B'rei Pri Hagafen shebeirach al Shia Rishona. That you made on the first when you drank your wine that you were drinking by Shalosh this time. Afa Pishim Etayim Eishas Iser. In between, it became a time there was also if you to drink b'chalal. You're not allowed to eat or drink. It became night. It's Havdalah time. Ta'ayim shigia halayla at shehivdol. Re'ein tzarech loymar. Im mafsik be'emsach hilas im avdol yayin. She tzarech havarach B'rei Pri Hagafen. Karbeirech B'rei Pri Hagafen yayin shebtzei chasudah shefnei asura. And this would definitely be the case in a situation where you washed for Shalosh Shudas. Beheter, you washed, and in the middle of the meal you wanted to drink wine, so you made it B'rei Pri Hagafen. So then you don't even have to stop when it comes night. You can go in as long as you want through the whole night. Because you know Chiv Havdalah, as long as you're in the middle of the meal, Kivan Shehischel Beheter, you started permissibly, continue the meal like you said for many hours. So you never reached the Shas Isser. So if you decide right now I want to be Mavdil, you never had a time in between and there was a Shas Isser. Unlike the previous case where you only Keveil Shia, you were just drinking wine before Shalosh Shudas. And when it came to Zman, it's also to continue drinking the wine. So there's a Shas Isser. So if Madach, if we said when you're just Kivul Shia, when you have a Chiv to be Masik and to make Havdalah, over there we said the B'rei Pri Hagafen for the wine that you drank on Shabbos helps for the Havdalah. You don't have to make B'rei Pri Hagafen again. For sure, in the case we actually washed for a meal, you had a meal, and then you drank some wine during the meal. You have to make a B'rei Pri Hagafen on the wine, by the way. Hamaitzi does not pata you from B'rei Pri Hagafen. The only reason during Sudas and Shabbos we don't need to make another B'rei Pri Hagafen is because we have the Kiddush, which is Maitzi you the B'rei Pri Hagafen. But if during Shalosh Shudas you want to take a sip of wine, or during Sudas Mashiach we drink wine, you have to make a B'rei Pri Hagafen that wine. Because it's a chashav thing, yayin.
Chabad doesn't make B'rei Pri Hagafen a Suda Shlishit. They leave it for Havdalah. They never make B'rei.
Because that's after you benched. Because once you benched, the kois of Birchas Hamazon, once you bench you have to wait.
However,
by the way, the big shaila comes by Sheva Brachas. When people do a Sheva Brachas by Shalosh Shudas, Shabbos Shalosh Shudas, when I do Sheva Brachas, now they don't only just say Birchas Hamazon on the cup. When you say Birchas Hamazon on the kois, so you leave the kois for Havdalah. And Havdalah you say on the kois. The discussion about why is it not an inyan of voice in mitzvahs chavilas, do two mitzvahs at once. Benegei Yakna has, we do Kiddush and Havdalah. When it's Meitzoi Shabbos, which is Yom Tif, like we had, let's say Shavuos, right? Meitzoi Shabbos and Havdalah. So we do Yakna has Yayin Kiddush and Havdalah. Kiddush and Havdala together, is that a problem? Because Kedusha Achas, Havdala and Kiddush is one concept. It's all about the Kedusha of Shabbos. But if it's two different inyanim, you're not supposed to do it on the same kois. But Havdala and Berachas Hamazon is allowed. Different pirushim. Why? Whether because maybe Havdala is only Midrabanan, it's the rice Midrabanan, so they're two different levels. They're not the same to the level as the mitzvahs. Akopanim, we do it both in the same cup. We take that cup you left for Berachas Hamazon, and you make Havdala on the very same kois. But what happens when you made a Sheva brachas on that kois? You made Sholosh Shudas, at the ending you benched, and you made Sheva brachas. Now, the Chassid and Kala have to drink from that kois.
Right.
So, are we...
Can leave it.
Now, if we tell them to wait till later, we made a hefsek. Now was the Sheva brachas. Now we tell them, oh, come back in later on, and you'll take a drink. So what should we do? There's many different shittas. What should be done? Some say they should take a sip, just a little sip. Some say they should drink it regular, the Chassid and Kala. And some say that no, they wait till after Havdalah, like everyone else, and then they drink like we always do by Shalosh Shudas.
We had a Sephardi Shabbat in Shul on Shabbos, and the Sephardi guy said our minhag is to drink it and then make Havdalah and make again. Shavuos finished, and Moses said, no. He said, no, our minhag is to drink it, yes.
That's what he said.
Yeah, and then the Ma'ariv Havdalah and again.
And Meraza didn't want.
I said, no, our Sephardi will drink it.
I think that in Chabad, they always were noyig one way, but then a few years ago was discovered a letter from the Rebbe about it, which it seemed that the Rebbe led a different, lean to another way. I don't remember which way was which one. There's these interesting scenarios, hard to remember what to do, when it comes to the situation. You have to remember the halacha.
Why can't you in the middle of the suda daven ma'ariv? You won't be able to say the in benching. Daven ma'ariv before benching, bench and go right into Havdalah and that.
Hefsek, no? The benching is hefsek.
I'll tell you, it's exactly what the Rebbe
The
did.
benching, not hefsek. If you're eating,
The Chassan Kala.
I understand what you're saying.
And the Rebbe,
if you're eating,
another
and then you daven ma'ariv.
Another cousin.
But
Daven ma'ariv before.
So it's not
That's what
hefsek
the Rebbe
Birkat
did in
Hamazon.
7-7.
No, you're allowed daven ma'ariv before Birkat Hamazon.
Because he wanted
to.
the Kala to share
It
it.
happens all the time.
So it wasn't, they didn't try to combine the two. He made a separate.
What about what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
I think once you daven ma'ariv, you say after Chinan Tanu,
Yeah.
Havdalah, you can't drink anymore.
You can. You say Havdalah and it leads right into Shabbat. That's what I'm asking. Can you eat such a chick shy? I'm asking you.
No, but either way, you have to make Havdalah.
So you say Havdalah. You have to bunch Havdalah, very big up, and then right after Havdalah, you go right into Shabbat.
No, but what about Hamavdal on the kois? You can't drink before Havdalah on the kois. You have to make for Havdalah on the kois. The Havdalah and
You mean
Tefillah.
the half say very free guffin on the Havdalah, then you do it. But it's close. I see. It's a little. You can't connect the Suda. Once you say Havdalah, you can't connect the Shabbat brachas to the Suda. You say you can't do it.
It's very interesting because when Rabbi Meraza had the Sheva bracha for his he had them drink the wine first, and then we made Havdalah afterwards, after
So they drank after benching?
yes,
That was Shabbat Shabbat.
yes.
So he did allow. Okay.
If I remember correctly, yeah.
We finish Shavuos.
Finish
They
Shavuos.
left the 2 cups on the table.
Okay.
We daven Ma'ariv, we made Havdalah, and then
You say it's Daisel? The Shabbat brachas is Zeira. What they said.
Could be. Some sheets hold that you could make it right. You could drink it right. Okay.
was there, man.
Yeah.
The doctor want to see what they're gonna do, drink it or not.
Yeah.
We went to both cups, and after Havdoloh, then the
Okay, top of page Shilam Agib. What about if you're not making Kiddush, Havdalah on wine? You're making on beer. Beer is a shahakal.
like this much shot.
Ve'im hu ma'avdalah sheikhar. If you're making on beer, ain't tzarech levarech alav shahakal. B'tayich hasuda. And yois that you're in the middle of your meal, you didn't bench yet, and you're making Havdalah in the middle of the suda. You don't need to make a shahakal on the sheikha you're going to drink for Havdalah, because you're benching, your hamaitzi patters you. You didn't make any shahakal, not in the middle of the suda, it's not an issue. When you make hamaitzi, you can drink as much as you want. You don't have to make a shahakal, because it's all part of the meal. So the sheikher for Havdalah, you will still need to make a shahakal for. However, some argue with all of the above. V'yishchelkin al kol zeh, and they say that no, once you make Havdalah, you're going to have to make another bracha on the Havdalah Gafen, or if you're drinking sheikher, shahakal niyabadvari, it does not help. The saying of the Havdalah is an actual hesek adas to before, and you're going to have to make a new bracha.
Just before Brichas Hamazon?
Yeah.
They were eating or drinking sheikha, they made Havdalah before they said Brichas Hamazon.
Yeah.
So the Moshe Kat is the...
So according to the first sheet that we spoke until
you
now,
don't need to make a bracha.
no Be'er Pir Gafen or no Shahakani B'dvari. Whether yayin or sheikha, because you're in the middle of a meal. The Yishchol Kolzen says no. It's a once you're making Havdalah, your Be'er Pir Gafen for the meal is not going to help you for Havdalah. You have to make a new Be'er Pir Gafen. L'chein, therefore, because some argue, Toiv Lizar, best to be careful. Do not do this. Don't make Havdalah before you bench. In if you already made Be'er Pir Gafen L'yayin. What happens if you do indeed want to make Havdalah for some reason now, and you're in the middle of the meal? You shouldn't do this, but for some reason you need to do it. Or if you were not in the middle of the meal anyways, you were only kavua for drinking, which then you're chayit, you mafsek Havdol. Lo yivarech al koish Havdalah kedei ha'alav she'ikar. Do not make a bracha on the koish Havdalah like the first opinion, which is the main opinion. The opinion that Alter Rebbe spoke out for the whole beginning of Havdalah, that's the main halacha. The main halacha is that if you make Havdalah during the meal, you don't need to make a Be'er Pir Gafen. Or if you're drinking sheikha or beer, you don't need to make a shagim dvar, because your hamaitzi or your Be'er Pir Gafen patters you. You don't need to make it. You say without a Be'er Pir Gafen Havdalah. However, since it's an opinion which is choylik, better not to get yourself into the situation. Don't do that to make Havdalah before Brichas Hamazon. But if you do for some reason want to do it that way, follow the first opinion and don't make the bracha, because that's the ikar halacha.
This one's a Shabbat.
However, by the way, when you're going to bench after Havdalah, you don't make say ritzei.
Yeah.
So that benching, you don't say ritzei.
This
No
one's a
long
Shabbos.
Shabbos.
We don't do on wine, Havdalah. Tisha B'Av. We do on sheikha, no?
No, we don't do anything. You can't drink. It's Tisha B'Av.
So you don't do...
No Havdalah.
Sunday night.
Sunday
After
night.
Tisha B'Av.
Sunday night you
Sunday
make
night
it.
you do the Havdalah.
So Eina Chanami Sunday night. But even this past Matzah Shabbos, the Chatchila is supposed to look for a child.
I can't find one.
If you don't find a child, you can drink it.
People are Babish saying everyone's in some say he drinks it himself. Yeah.
they gave a chatchila to a child. If there's a child available,
In 770, the guy gives it to a child.
the Rebbe used to give for a child.
We're all children of Hashem.
Libra drinks it, so.
I don't know what they do today, but by the Rebbe they use a child that they used to have. Yeah. You use a child but if there's no child, you do it, you drink it yourself. We're not makbid.
We're all
I'll be
children of
Chabad at least.
We're all children of Hashem, so we can drink.
Other people could be our makbid. One more sif. We're gonna have a siyum mitzvah Shem and Ma'ariv. He mispalo toich hasuda chalal of choyves Havdoloh. If someone davens Ma'ariv in the middle of the meal, he has a chiyuv to make Havdoloh. He can't go back to the meal anymore. Someone tells you, oh, there's a Ma'ariv, you're in the middle of your Fabringen, you don't want to be mafsik your Fabringen, and there's a Ma'ariv, you don't want to miss the minyan. Let me daven Ma'ariv, and then I'll continue my tish, my Fabringen, my shal shudas. No. Also, last of the Sudase, now you have to say Havdoloh. You daven Ma'ariv already, now you have a chiyuv. Now, once Ma'ariv is finished, automatically you have a chiyuv to make Havdoloh. Even if you daven Ma'ariv early during the day on Shabbos, which by the way, in extenuous situation is permissible, you can daven Ma'ariv early, just like an entire week, even on Shabbos. You can daven Ma'ariv with Atach and Antanu on Shabbos. But it's a strange thing, therefore you shouldn't lechatchila do it. Chalal choyves dal miyad, you have a chiyuv to do Havdoloh right away, and you cannot, on that Shabbos, once you daven Ma'ariv on Shabbos, early, you can no longer, also litim klum, you cannot eat anything, chutz mayim, besides for water, like we spoke earlier, hachiyavdol, until one makes Havdoloh.
However, if you're davening Ma'ariv early and you do the ataf on and the shmona, that's right. How do we light the candle in Havdala if it's not completely dark outside?
No, you have to wait.
No, you can't do
No, you
light
have to
the
wait.
You can't light the candle.
No, you have to wait.
You wouldn't be able to say after from the company, you wouldn't be able to.
No, you can't do Chal Shabbos.
No, it's not. It's still Shabbos.
Yeah.
Do Shabbos.
Havdalah does not make it Shabbos, whether it's Shabbos or not. Havdalah is just a mitzvah that you have to be mechabed Shabbos by saying the divrei shevach about Shabbos and Motzei Shabbos, but it doesn't make it Shabbos, not Shabbos. Whether it's choil, it depends whether it's dark. It's nightfall. Once it's nightfall, it's choil. Right? Just Chazal told us, don't eat a drink until you do have the mitzvah of Havdalah.
Let's see Siyum
Is it going to be a siyum?
Yes.
They can see it? Oh.
Double Siyum. Yes. Baruch Hashem.
Come sit down, sit down. Let's sit back.
The Suda will have money in the house.
Huh?
The Suda will have money in the house.
I will have tomorrow night. Ladies have a chacham ben avim le bois Mashiach. Look at the shisha talk. Look at the shir to the ak. Look at the shinasa some amam. Look at the lech. Lishtas lismoyach. Look at the shipnu matoyre v'chachamos. That the reason that chachamim had a desire for Yemais Mashiach is not to have dominion over the world, to be over the goyim, to eat and to drink and to be happy, but to have the peace of mind to learn Torah and Chacham. Aloyam nogus and battle. The Rebbe wanted that we should have every day, the 9 days, we should have a Siyum Masechta. As Chazal said, Mishnich Nasad Marbe Mesimcha, Mishnich Memata Besimcha, and the Shavort is Mishnich Nasa Memat, and that we decrease in the negative stuff through Simcha. Ain't Simcha la Torah. So the Simcha of making a Siyum Masechta gives a koyach of Simcha for the entire day. Every day should be a Siyum. So last night we had a siyum, and tonight we have a siyum. And tomorrow night we have a siyum.
That's not, you have two Siyum. That's not, you have two Siyum.
Why?
Maseches Tainis and the
Okay. And Mitzvah Shem, the entire week of Mitzvah Shem, Thursday night, someone making Masech, Wednesday night, Masech Psochim, and then Thursday night.
before Ma'ariv. Lo yisas man lo yisham lo yirav lo melcham lo ykinam lo yisachrus. Shatoy v'tim u'shpas harba v'chol amadanim u'tzim ka'ofor. Lo yisek alo yilum ela l'das Hashem b'lamad. At that time there will not be famine or jealousy, and there will be a lot of good, and all delicacies will be like dust, and the world will only know the Eibishter. Fikach Yisrael Chom Gedolim v'yedor mastumim v'yasigu das born v'yikarach Adam. Shenema k'mol oretz teis Hashem k'mayim l'chasim. So Shkoch El Yoina, that we're finishing a base Menachem Mendel Maseches Tainus, and also the Rambam. So the Rebbe has an unbelievable hadran, which you did, right? You did Sunday night.
I did only half of it. There was not, 1 hour is not enough.
So the Rebbe says that the Pashtus, that these two, what's the diuk in the Rambam? Rebbe says in the previous halacha also, you have Torah and Chochmos, and over here you say, Yisrael Chacham Gedolim, V'yerdim Dvarim Astumim. There will know hidden things. V'yasigu das boidem. What are the two things? Dvarim Astumim, V'yasigu das boidem. Lamai, the Rambam is the Tchilas of the Rambam. At the beginning of the Sefer, the Rambam writes, Yisoides, the Amuda Chochma Leidish Yesham Matzirisim Mamtz Kol Nimtza Kol Nimtza Mishmam Retz Mashuvneim Leimtza Leimtza Motzei. The Rambam has 4 prokim, 2 about Maisa Makov and 2 about Maisa Bereshis. So therefore, Dvorim Astumim is Maisa Bereshis, and Das Boirim V'Karchodim is Maisa Makova. If shall helpful, we should be zoichetake to come to the days of Molor Teis Hashem Kamayim Le'amachas.
Amen.
The more interesting thing is that this Ashgocha, besides Ashgocha Pratis, that's for Beis Menachem Mendel, that there's a beautiful Hada in connecting. We're finishing Tainus and we're finishing the Rambam. There's a Hada for the Rebbe that he said the year before he started the campaign of learning Rambam. It's just the way it works out this year is that Shabbos we read about Ori Miklat, and then we make on Sunday the Rambam, the Siyum Rambam, and where is it Merumas in the mitzvah in the Torah that Mashiach must come, is the Rambam says in the beginning of this Perek, it's Av Be'orim Miklat Oimim Yarchiv Hashem Alakechas Gvulcha V'Yisaftelcha Oid Shalosh Orim Moilam Lahoyed Avazav Leitziva Kadosh Baruch Hu Latoyu. That there couldn't be a mitzvah when Tayag Mitzvah Torah that to be for no reason. The Eibusha said there'll be Yarchiv, that besides the nation, the land of the 7 nations, there'll be a land of the 10 nations. And that never happened. Kaini Knizi B'Kadmoini, which I'm is what it is, but maybe it's Amoin. And Mashiach will conquer it, and then we'll have the other. And it's one of the mitzvahs of Torah, but this is the mitzvah that we read the Shabbos. And Hemshech to the Shabbos, so they shall help from that this mitzvah that we should be able to be Mekayim, take it from Yad Malish.
Why the Rambam said Mero B'Yamein? It's a locha, why you have to give us like Mero B'Yamein?
That's about Porah, the 10 Porah.
Part of the locha.
Good.